You're now watching Sports Bettor's Paradise on the BetRivers Network.
All right, Jimmy Ott along with Randy McKay talking NFL. Another routine week. It's now 7 out of 8 weeks that Randy has gone 2-1. Keep it going, big boy. So, we like to call you one of the most respected NFL handicappers in the country. Some of our other buddies say the most respected handicapper out of South Dakota. Come on now. Give that man some credit. 7 of 8 2-1 weeks now. Let's get right to it. A couple of blue bloods here and offensively challenged teams. Boy, those unders keep on rolling in the NFL, don't they? Another big profitable week if you had all the unders. Pittsburgh at home, it is at -3 against the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, kind of getting on this one before it moves. I think it'll go up to 3.5 here. So lock in the 3 as quick as possible. Get a Pittsburgh team here that has more rest. That's a big advantage. They played the Thursday game. Green Bay had a semi-tough game. Finally put away the injured Rams late. So, they're still trying to find themselves. Very slow starting team, and I think that's going to hurt them in this matchup. We've seen this Green Bay team get off to slow starts, and then trying to catch up with Jordan Love and company isn't the best recipe, and that's not going to be a good recipe against this Pittsburgh Steelers team, who I think's got the big advantage here with their defensive line with Hayward and Watt against this ragtag offensive line, one of the worst in the league in my opinion. Green Bay team going to have a tough time moving the ball. Of course, Pittsburgh on that side of the ball still hasn't gotten much offensive continuity. They do have a little life in the running game there, especially when they bring in Warren. He seems like he's more of a spark plug than Harris. Harris is more of a grinder, get you 3 yards in a cloud of dust type guy. In the passing game, so-so. Sometimes they hit those back shoulders. And, of course, missing that tight end hurts a lot for the Steelers team. But I just see a better team here with a short number, getting more rest and and this is their 3rd straight home game. So they got to win this before they play these 2 games going on the road to the division rivals. So good spot here for the Steelers.
Steelers do it again. Excuse me, don't they? I mean, and I thought Will Levis, now considering it's only his second game that you've seen action, his second start for the Tennessee Titans, he looked really good for just being his second action again. So with that going, they still found a way to win. Boy, this Tomlin streak is unbelievable. It's college and pro. Gundy, 17 straight winning seasons. I mean, and then Tomlin, never a losing season. That's a hell of a prop between those two. What the hell's what's going to go down first? So Pittsburgh is -3 against the Green Bay Packers. That Green Bay Rams game was dull on Sunday afternoon in the early slate. Get extra value this football season with BetRivers Squares. Win up to $10,000 in bonus money. Bet $10 in same-game parlays on any game with the Squares icon to earn a square. Brought to you by our friends over at BetRivers. All right, let's move on. Monday Night Football. You got a couple of prime-time games that you're looking at right now. Buffalo, after falling to the Cincinnati Bengals, and Sunday Night Football, be hosting the Denver Broncos. 7.5, the Bills are laying against the Broncos here, against maybe the mildly improving Broncos here, Randy?
Yeah, and I'm definitely going to pick against this Buffalo team. This is like the 3rd straight week, and I'm just going to keep going against them. If they want to give me 7.5, look how desperate this Bills defense is. They signed Linval Joseph. He's played forever. I remember when he used to play for the Vikings, this big defensive tackle. They had to sign him. They're so desperate on this defense and defensive line. We saw them. They played as competitive as they could. Of course, Cincinnati left a lot of points on the board there. Otherwise, that game could have easily been a blowout and a lot easier game for us not to sweat there at the end. But, pretty decisive win there for the Bengals. On the other side, Denver, team coming off a bye, big win against the KC Chiefs. And we're seeing a little move here. We're seeing the coach there take the reins there a little bit. Sean Payton, converting to a running game more than a passing game, not risking Wilson, doing what he does best with the rollouts. And I think this Bills defense struggles against the run. Their yards per play is one of the worst against the run. We're going to see some success here with Williams, and this kid McLaughlin gives them a big bounce in this running game. Also, Denver has an improving offensive line here, and they're better better run blockers than pass blockers with McGlinchey and company. And they spent a lot of money on the offseason. We're starting to see it pay off here, taking the ball kind of out of Russ's hands, not with those dumb turnovers he's prone to make. And hopefully he plays a clean game here. And I think we should easily have a good shot at getting the 7.5, and a good shot maybe if you want to sprinkle some money line here. This Denver team's rested. Their defense is improved. I see this as a grinder game. Also kind of maybe even look at the unders. So all Denver here in this matchup and picking against the Bills again.
All right, yeah. Buffalo, since that high point where they look so good in beating the Miami Dolphins, routing the Dolphins, and now we've seen the Dolphins trend also having their own issues against quality teams. But man, they look good in that game. But 5 straight losses against the spread since that game. Now they're going 2 and 3 straight up, but 5 straight losses. And yes, the last one was sort of a fluke with Tampa Bay covering at the end, but still, it's 0-5 now and laying more than a touchdown. Plus 280 right now is the money line coming back on Denver. Total is at 46.5. Boy, that's a high total as well for a team that wants to try and take the air out the ball in the Denver Broncos as well. So that's Monday Night Football. Sunday Night Football. Cannot get enough of Craig of Mr. Wilson, huh? Can we not? Can we please see him again? I mean, my goodness, the Jets and the Las Vegas Raiders. You got one thing to promote over and over, and this and that'll be Antonio Pierce. And I got one. I got one observation here. The Raiders must have really hated McDaniel. My goodness, they were a different team. They looked great, even though the Giants were down to the rookie from Illinois. I get it, DeVito, but still, man, they looked so much better. So Raiders catching 2.5. You want to tease it up to 8.5 as part of your teaser. We'll get to the second half in just a second.
Yeah, this Raider game, last week, if, I gave out the teaser with the Giants, and if I could have tweeted it out, I guess I did it myself. Bort, as soon as the pasta man came in there, you knew you were in trouble, and they'd lose by 14 or more probably in that situation. I heard a lot of people make a lot of money off that. As soon as he came in, they knew they were going to be a one-dimensional, and it was going to be a low-scoring game. It was going to be ugly, but pretty much a basic teaser here where you're taking a home team up to 8.5 against an offensively challenged team like the Jets. Low total here as well, 36.5. So points are a definite premium here. And we saw some good play out of O'Connell. He was impressive at Purdue. This was his second action. He looks like he knows what he's doing back there. Unlike the other side there with DeVito, and unlike probably this other side here with Wilson. Well, I'm tired of seeing Wilson. I unfortunately had the Jets last night. Not a good game there. Of course, not all his fault. That offensive line is bad for the Jets, one of the worst, right up there with the Packers and some of these other teams that just cannot block. I mean, they get more holding calls than anything else, and that sets your team back. Where this Raider team, very impressive there. Max Crosby pretty much dominates the defensive line. Going to be a nightmare for this Jets team. So winning this game by more than 8.5 is going to be a tough tough look for the Jets, and I might even look at taking a side, but a teaser here looks very appealing.
All right, so that's one half of the teaser. Vegas plus 8.5 against the Jets, and then Minnesota plus 8.5 against the Saints. That's at home. Saints, after winning a couple, being the best of the worst in the NFC South, but Saints 2.5 road favorites here against Dobbs. And I thought, boy, that was one thing about it. Boy, he won over that team and that coaching staff. How he handled that thing thrown in there, there's no question about that. Dobbs, and we know about him in Tennessee. What kind of aerospace major at the University of Tennessee? I mean, the guy's basically an astronaut, rocket scientist, and I mean he learned on the farm. That was impressive and a wild one too, and needed every bit of it. His heroics in Atlanta to steal that one from Atlanta. Now they come home, and the Vikings will catch it 2.5 here against the Saints. You want to tease it up, pass those hot numbers of 3 and 7 up to 8.5 as well.
Yeah, pretty much basic teaser here. And getting back to Dobbs, that's one of the most impressive games in Viking folklore, we'll have to say, because I've lived it myself. The Viking tradition there, and in winning that game, even in the NFL standards, that was an incredible win. He doesn't even hardly know the players' names, and he came in there and did what he did and shocked the world pretty much. But this is pretty much another basic where you take the home team up to 8.5, which I normally like to do in every situation. Another low total, 41.5. So, pretty good move here. This Saints team, very inconsistent. They could have blown out that Bears team pretty easily last week. Problems in the red zone all the time, and that's what Derek Carr is. He gets you to the 20, and then they can't figure out what to do. Maybe they should use some more of that Taysom Hill guy.
They are. He caught one and threw. He caught one and threw one in the red zone.
Yeah, it seems like when he gets in there, things happen, and then they get in the end zone where relying on this young kicker who doinked one off the upright as well, which cost people all the money there. Pretty much lands 7, and
right.
And that was a disaster as well. So, the Saints team, I can see them. This team will match up pretty well. Both sides will match up pretty well on the offensive, defensive lines. I don't see really any advantage here. It's just all in the specialty teams and the talent there. So I see a close, I think this will be a low-scoring game as well. Flores defense playing really well, very much improved this year for the Viking team. A lot quicker.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Very good with his timely blitzes as well. So, I'm impressed with that. And, we know Dennis Allen, very good on the defensive end as well. Maybe not the best head coach in the world, but, plus 8.5, another appealing situation with a home team up to 8.5, and then paired with the Raiders 1 as well. So Vikings plus 8.5 here for me.
Yeah, keep in mind the Saints were plus 5 in a turnover margin in that game against the Bears and could not cover. So they just need to let Taysom take every snap in the red zone. It's just that simple. I mean, look at his percentage of success and look at Carr's once he gets in there. It's pretty simple. And yes, within a couple of minutes, we had a point spread decided on hitting the upright on a very makeable field goal under 45 and taking a knee on a 2-point conversion. So it's the NFL, man. You never know what's going to happen with those numbers. How about that down in Houston as well? 7 of 8 weeks, 2-1. No pressure. Keep it up. My man, Randy McKay, he's done an excellent job. We're here each and every week with his top 3 best bets on the Sports Bettor's Paradise. For Randy McKay, I'm Jimmy Ott here on the BetRivers Network.